Hey guys, when you see this video, I probably haven't posted in a while, and I would like you to know that the beginning of this school year fucked me. So, I filmed 2 videos before the school year started. They have been sitting in iMovie for like a month. 3 weeks, a month. They've been sitting in iMovie, half edited, both of them, half edited. So they've been sitting in iMovie, and I have not been able to grab the slightest bit of motivation to sit down and edit them and post them. So I'm gonna get this video up first, because we just filmed a video for Ellie's channel, and the link will be right there. Professional YouTuber with 4 subscribers, and they're all me and my friends. This is Ellie.
Hi!
This is my best friend of all time, my day one, my BFF.
Your wife.
My wife. So we are going to be telling you the story of our friendship and all of the ups and downs of it.
Oh yeah.
So, enjoy this.
Okay, so we should definitely start with us meeting. We've gone to the same school. Well, okay, so we've been in the same school district for our whole life, but we started going to the same school in middle school, and we, officially met in 6th grade. I don't really remember, meeting you.
Yeah, I don't remember meeting you either. I feel like it had something to do with,
Yeah.
And I think that, I'm trying to censor their names. So, we don't remember the moment we met, but we think it had something to do with Jessica and Tiffany. And I've been friends with those 2 since kindergarten. They were my first friends, and then middle school happened, and throughout all of middle school, me, Jessica, and Tiffany all just kind of drifted apart. We weren't interested in the same things. It was just the classic case of we just grew out of each other. Nothing really happened. But I'm pretty sure that Tiffany and Jennifer, who was Tiffany's other best friend, I'm pretty sure that those 2 introduced me to you.
Yeah. I just remember, going home to my mom one day as this little midget 6th grader that I was, and being like, Mom, I met this really cool girl. And she was like, oh, who is she? And I told her her name, and lo and behold, my mom was actually pretty good friends with her mom.
And I'm pretty sure I have a vague memory of the same thing happening, where I, went home and I was like, oh my god, I met Ellie, and my mom was like, oh my god, I'm friends with her mom.
So yeah, I don't really remember, most of 6th grade, but I remember, once 7th grade hit, I remember we were super
friends.
close. Yeah, we were super close. I remember, going to the middle school dances with you.
Mm-hmm.
And then 7th grade is still kind of blurry, but I remember we were, really close at the time. The most, impact that I remember was definitely 8th grade.
Mm-hmm.
I remember, okay, first of all, everyone at school thought we were lesbians.
Okay, we need to start from, 6th grade and, go chronologically. Okay. So in 6th grade, we don't really remember, much of that, but I do remember, being like, oh my god, Ellie's in this class, I'm so excited. I do remember, being, enjoying your presence.
Yeah.
And being happy that I had you in my life.
Yeah.
In 6th grade. And then 7th grade hit, and we were definitely close. And 7th grade is kind of when I started going through my own, mental health thing, and I'm pretty sure that yours was,
Mine was, the end of 7th grade, beginning of 8th grade.
So, the beginning of 7th grade, I really started going through it, and she was, there to help me through that experience, and then it hit her, and we were there for each other. We also kind of enabled each other sometimes, and made it much, much worse than it had to be. And we definitely encouraged some behaviors on each other that did not need to be encouraged upon each other.
Definitely.
But that happened. And then, what was it, the summer between 7th and 8th grade? The summer between 7th and 8th grade, I discovered this YouTube channel. I'm gonna put a little mini screenshot right about here so you can grasp the aesthetic of this
I
YouTube
also
channel.
don't think we really talked at all of the summer between 7th and 8th grade.
Yeah,
I don't think we had any contact.
Yeah, and I really, really got into this YouTube channel. I kind of adopted their aesthetic. I guess you could call my style emo, that's what I called it. And then I came back to school and I was wearing eyeliner up to my non-existent eyebrows. My hair was purple, and like Ellie and Denise, they kind of followed that. And
although I do remember at first, so like growing up I was always really girly and like not into any of that, even though like at the point in time I was mentally struggling. I remember her walking in the first day of 8th grade and like seeing her with purple hair and eyeliner on, and at that point I didn't wear any makeup, and I saw her and I was like, what happened? I'm scared of her. I was legit scared of you for like the first month of 8th grade.
So if I can find any pictures, this is about the point. Well, I probably already, no, I didn't, I don't have any. But if I can find any pictures of, like, this stage in our lives, I will throw up some disgusting yearbook photos, some photos that were taken by my mom, some photos that may have been taken by her mom. Anything we can find that's that old, I will start to kind of flash them on the screen, like right about here. So, you should have seen her hair, by the way. In, like, 6th grade, it was, like, down to her butt. It was so long. And I remember this one day. Her mom had gotten her one of those, like, bun donut thingies. And she tried to put it in this, like, long hair of hers at school. In middle school.
It got stuck!
It got stuck. And I remember, like, me and Jessica and Jennifer and, like, we were all, like, just trying to get this thing out of her hair. We were, like, in the bathroom together for a very long period of time. And, yep.
That was an experience.
That was an experience. And then 8th grade, and she chopped it off. And
I've had it short ever since. I regret it still to this day. But looking back at it, like, I don't think I would have been who I am if I hadn't cut my hair off.
yeah, probably not.
But, like, now I'm to the point I've dyed it so much that it's really damaged, so I am just gonna look better.
I'm gonna show you a picture of her hair from, like, 6 months ago, right here. And then lately, she has been dyeing her hair non-fucking stop. Look at this. Look at this. Turn your head around. Turn your head. Look at this. Come for her in the comments, please.
Listen,
tell her to stop dyeing her hair so much.
There is a burnt off part that's this fucking long. I'm done, okay? I dyed it back to brunette so I could just leave it. That's all I wanted. I wanted a natural color and I'm just gonna leave it. I'm done touching it for a long time. I messed up, okay? I went through some stuff.
I'm gonna show you any picture of her I can find recently and just start flashing the colors right here.
Hey, I kept it to the same color genre. I just did not do it properly.
Also, at home dye.
Oh yeah, I never went to a salon. The last time I went to a salon was like over a year ago.
Yeah. Okay, so 8th grade.
Yeah.
8th grade, we are, me and Ellie and Denise, we are going through it. We are all kind of following this YouTube channel. Me and Denise more so than Ellie. And it kind of, like, turned us into carbon copies of the YouTubers.
Oh yeah.
And we were, like, very much not our own person.
We were also very much hated at school.
Yeah. People still don't like me because of this stage I went through. So.
Can't relate.
Yeah. She has more friends than me.
It's not even that, it's just more so, like...
You didn't go as ham in 8th grade.
No, I didn't. And I also kind of turned into, like, a thought. So, everyone just kind of likes me because... Yeah.
Oh, there was a color run in 8th grade that I know I have pictures from, so
Yup.
here they are.
Those bangs,
Those
though.
bangs.
Y'all will understand when you see. All you gotta know is those bangs.
Yeah.
That was my ex-stepdad's mother's fault. She cut those. She went to beauty school, that's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. So, freshman year. Freshman year, I start dating Brandon for the first time. When I get into relationships that I perceive as serious, I cut off everyone. I don't know why. I don't try to do this, but it happens every time. And for the beginning of this relationship, Ellie and I were very close as we were in 8th grade.
Okay, so we kind of stopped hanging out when she started dating him because she was spending a lot of time with him. And then I started to feel, and I think a lot of this just stems back to my past, but I started to feel just, like, really abandoned by it. Like, I felt really lost because for a really long period of time, it was always me and Amber. Like, we were always together. I always had her. Like, there was no, like, people literally confused us sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like, we were always together. And then she started dating him, and we didn't spend a lot of time together, and I just started to feel, like, a lot of anger towards her because I just felt like she kind of left me there. Like, I didn't really have any friends. I didn't really talk to anyone other than her and Denise. Like, those are the only two people I really talked to. So I started to just get really, really angry at her. Like, I was livid. And then I finally said something to her, which turned into us getting into a very, very big fight that was very overdramatic, not needed, like, it should have never happened.
And let me tell you, like, this fight went so far as to, like, me and my best friend who, like, it's been, like, him, we'll call him Tobias. It's been, like, Tobias and Ellie on either side of me, like, since 6th grade. Like, Tobias has been, like, with me alongside Ellie. I just never got, like, as close with him, but he's, like, his locker is right next to mine because our last names are, like, right there in the alphabet, so he's always, like, been right there. And it went so far as there was one day in the hallway, Ellie had kind of, like, changed her style. She was starting to dress more, like, mature, and there was this one day she wore this short, like, maroon or purple skirt.
It was maroon.
And maroon. And it was, like, she was, like, 2 people above me on the staircase, and I was walking, like, behind her on the staircase. And I turned to Tobias, and I was like, oh my god, I can see her panties, what a whore.
Okay, but, like, also I was 2 steps ahead of you. Of course you're gonna see at my skirt.
I know.
But what were you looking for?
So, like, that's...
Yeah, we
hated
each other for a period of time. Like, we both, like... I said some really hurtful things, she said some really hurtful things, and we, like, hated each other for majority of our freshman year. Like... And actually, there were a lot of people that noticed because, like, the friends that I have today now, I gained from that, which I'm kind of grateful for. But a lot of people, like, all of a sudden started, like, hey, I, like, noticed that you haven't been hanging out with Amber lately. Like, is everything okay? And I just kind of was like, yo, like, we're not good anymore. Like, I don't talk to her. And It definitely, like, the fact that we just weren't friends anymore, like, that quick, everyone was like, what? Like, we're known in school as, like, those 2 really close people, so everyone was like, what is going on?
Yeah, and, like, my mom started, like, noticing, and she was like, what are you doing with your life? Why aren't you hanging out with Ellie? Like, you should be hanging out with Ellie. She's good for you. And she was just, like, always on me about hanging out with Ellie, which was also kind of making me mad, because I was like, can I not just, like, hang out with who I want to hang out with? Like, are you trying to, like, dictate my life? And then I just projected that into Ellie, because I was like, well, obviously it's her fault, because why else would my mom just, like, say stuff like that, you know? Okay, so...
I feel like I should tell at least the beginning of this part, because that was kind of on me. Okay, so this was the beginning of our freshman year. Was she a junior at the time?
She was a junior.
Okay, so I met this girl. We're gonna call her...
I met her the summer before, too, because I worked with her.
I met this girl, Teresa, at the beginning of my freshman year.
And the previous summer, I worked at McDonald's, and I met her there, too.
I started to like this girl. I I've been pretty open about my sexuality. I don't really like to label it, but I'm interested in both guys and girls and sometimes trans people. But I met this girl and I was like, wow, I'm really feeling her, like, I like her, and we started dating. We dated for about 2 weeks, and she was more in the mindset for a serious relationship. I was not ready for that whatsoever.
Brandon's here.
So I told her that I thought it was best that we broke up. So then...
And I was not aware of this. I don't remember them dating. I have no recollection of it whatsoever at all. I don't know.
Do you remember the time at Tobias's?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, my current roommate, Mitchell, is Teresa's ex-boyfriend. They had dated, like, the previous year to the summer before my freshman year. So, and they dated for, like, just short of a year. I think that she broke up with him on their 1-year anniversary. I'm pretty sure. I might have that wrong. I'm really sorry to you guys if I do. I'm really sorry. But, so, I get...
my fate.
And then there was this other boy. We'll call him Brandon because Brandon is conveniently here. So we'll call him Brandon. So Teresa is currently, like, dating / friends with benefits, I think. I don't know. I was not sure at the time. I probably will never be sure. But they had, like, some form of a relationship. I don't know. And I was friends with Teresa, and I am friends with Mitchell. I was friends with Mitchell. So, I get a text in first block science class, where I sit right next to Ellie, and Teresa snapped me. It was like a chat, and she was like, why did you tell Mitchell that I fricked Brandon? And I was like...
And that she was a whore.
Yeah, and that she was a W word.
What?
I think it was, like, you were just leaving that class, because I remember I was walking...
Yeah, it was, like, almost the end of the block.
Because we had Spanish together, and
yeah.
I remember, like, you being like, I need to go to the counseling office, I'm having a panic attack, and you told me what was going on, and I was like, okay, let me tell the teacher that we're gonna go down there, I'll take you down there. So I tell the teacher, and all of a sudden I hear, like, someone talking outside of the classroom, so I walk out as soon as I told her, and there was Teresa.
And so there's this, like, alternative education teacher. We're gonna call him Mr. C. So he sits always, so it's like this straight hallway. And at this end is the science classroom. Right in the middle, well, maybe closer to, like, the science classroom. That's the Spanish classroom. And then in, like, the middle, there's a staircase. And then if you go down the hallway at the end of the staircase, that's Mr. C's classroom. So he sits at, like, the staircase, and he just stands there, and that he, like, patrols the hallway with a couple other teachers. That's, like, one of the areas where teachers stand. And it's, like, straight, like, easy access directly next to the Spanish classroom. So, like, he has full view of that door. And as I walk up, I'm, like, already crying, already having a panic attack. So I'm, like, standing outside of the classroom while Ellie goes in, and Teresa rounds the corner, because it's, like, a square-shaped school. She rounds the corner towards me, and she's stomping, huffing and puffing. She just looks intimidating already, so I'm already crying because she was, like, yelling at me over text in the previous class.
Mind you, this girl is, like, the same height as us.
Yeah.
We're 5'2".
And she, like, runs up to me, and she starts yelling in my face. I don't even remember what she said. And Mr. C walks over, and he's like, no. Teresa, go to your class. And she's like, okay. And she, like, walks off, and Mr. C starts to walk Ellie and I down to the counseling office. We get down there, we sit down, we're waiting for, like, the counselor to become available, because she's currently in a meeting, because we were just going to go in and talk to the counselor. And Teresa comes in. She, like, opens the door, runs in, already screaming, already mad.
Amber's sitting down in the chair, and me being me, I, like, literally encased her with my body to protect her. Like, her head was in my chest. I was like, nope.
And Teresa starts, like, yelling and Mr. C is, like, ready to, like, contain her, because this has happened before. She's had explosive outbursts before.
She busted my lip open with a Kleenex box.
Yeah, she starts throwing tissue boxes, because someone in the school had just died, so there was just, like, tons of tissue boxes everywhere. And so she's, like, picking them up, like, throwing them at us, and the, like, secretary of the counseling office says, Teresa, you're throwing Kleenex boxes. You're not going to hurt them. And she says, oh, so do you want me to throw something heavier? And I hear her, like, start to lift the printer, like, I heard it, like, creak up, and I was immediately just terrified.
So anyways.
So, Ellie can probably, like, tell that part a little bit better, because she had sight.
Yeah. So, okay, so after she threw the Kleenex box at me, I remember them, like, it was the vice principal, the secretary, and one of the other counselors were, like, standing around her, like, with their arms out, making sure that she can't get past them, and she wasn't able to, like, throw anything at us. There was no way for her to get at us. And Mr. C comes over, and he's like, let's get out of here. So we take off running.
And so when you come out of the counseling office, if you turn to your right, there's, like, a wall, and then, like, a staircase behind that wall that goes up. And the counseling office is on the bottom floor, and the Spanish room and the science room and Mr. C's room were all on the top floor. So we had already came downstairs, and then we round this corner, and we're, like, in the stairwell. And then I remember, didn't she, like, run past us because she was chasing us? So she was chasing us, so she, like, ran past us, and Mr. C was like, all right, up the staircase.
Yep.
So we run up the staircase, and then that's on, like, if this is the square, the staircase is on this side. And then we run around, and then there's 2 computer labs right next to each other, and in between them, there's, like, a little, like, storage office area. And there's a class going on in one of the computer labs. Mr. C opens it with his key, leads us in, like, makes a gesture at the teacher, and we go into the, like the little room. And Mr. C, like, goes out and he says something to the teacher, and he's like, hey, we're in here, don't tell anybody we're in here. And then just comes back in, locks the door, and we sit there.
He did put chairs, like, underneath the door handles, and then the school was sent into a non-emergency lockdown. From what I heard afterwards, the cops were called, and she actually got taken out of the school. But we ended up sitting in there for almost an hour.
She got knocked out.
Yeah. Her head got slammed against, like, the road. Because she, like, ran outside. So she ran outside before the cops even got there, and she, like, I can't remember exactly what happened, but she hit her head on the road, and she got knocked out. But we ended up sitting in there for almost an hour, and then basically we didn't really, like, do anything at school that whole day. Like, we ended up just sitting in the counseling office.
Didn't we leave?
I picked you up.
You left.
Brandon picked me up.
I couldn't leave. I didn't have the ability to, but we had to fill out, like, reports and stuff. It was crazy. And then, was it after that we had the fight, or was it when
it was after that. Because after that, we just, like, didn't really talk.
Yeah. So, I mean, that was the majority of our freshman year. Like, not much else happened with us because we just weren't talking.
And then sophomore year, we still were angry at each other. We were still talking. And then, like, midway through winter, I was, like, signing out in the, like, at the office, and she, like, walked by, and we, like, waved at each other or something, and she, like, motioned for me to come over to her, and she told me some piping hot tea that I'm not going to share here, but you guys may hear someday when we may tell that in a future video, like,
maybe.
Like, years from now.
Yeah.
But you don't need to know that right now. So she tells me that, and that's kind of like, okay, truce.
Yep, that was the moment. Like, I'd already started to realize that I had really missed Amber, but I was like, you know what, this is something that Amber would definitely want to hear, and I think it's been long enough that I think we're both old enough to be able to just, like, be able to get back into our flow. So I told her that, and then, yeah, we kind of just, like, all of a sudden, we were just friends again. Mm-hmm. Like, it was literally, like, nothing had changed.
Yeah.
Although I do feel that, like, especially now, like, us having that fight made us grow, like, into our own people, and also made our friendship a lot stronger. Because, like, we were together all the time. We weren't a singular person. Like, we were literally just carbon copies of each other, and, like, I think it started to become a problem for both of us, and I think that's why we didn't end up fighting, because we were so similar, and, like, we were doing so much stuff to each other that, like, it was just starting to be like we were just feeding off of each other, and it just made everything much, much worse.
And keep in mind, that mental illness that we started to, like, develop in, like, 7th grade is continuing through 9th grade, through 10th grade. And then, like, junior year is when it started to, like, get better. So, like, this whole time that we're, like, the same person as each other, we both have similar mental illnesses, and we are enabling each other to do those harmful things, and just, it wasn't good. No. And we were both, like, stuck in, like, the, am I me, or am I Ellie?
Yeah.
For, like, a long time.
Yeah, definitely. And then, I guess, sophomore year wasn't much, it was just kind of us getting back into the flow of us, like, being friends again. I think junior year was definitely the year that we finally got to be, like, good friends again, like, we actually started hanging out, we actually started doing stuff together, like, we were actually friends at that point in time.
Yeah, and before, like, junior year, she had lived, like, 15, 20-ish minutes out of town. So there's, like, town, and then there's, like, the country surrounding town, and then there's, like, other cities, and then there's, like, mini cities between those cities. So she lived in a mini city between another city, so she was, like, out of the way.
Yeah, I was just too far away to, like, actively be able to come hang out with people, but I was close enough to, like, still go to the school.
Yeah, and then junior year, she moved into a house in town, and my mom lives just outside of town, like, 5 minutes out of town, and I had my license, like, end of sophomore year, I got my license, so I was able to drive between my house and her house very, very easily, so I was there all the time.
And yeah, we just, like, ever since, it was about, I think it was, like, January of that year. Well, I guess that would have been this year.
Yeah.
But we were actually able to, like, start hanging out together, and, like, we spent all of our time together, pretty much. Like,
school would get done, and I'd come over to her house, and I'd be there until, like, 11 at night if I wasn't staying the night there.
Yeah, and she literally lived with me for, like, a month. Like, she was just there all the time.
And Bob lived there, too, so it was, like, and Bob was also our friend since middle school, so it was, like, the three of us kind of reunited all together.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really great, but I was just, like,